You're listening to Built Together, the podcast all about Blacks united in leading technology, hosted by Audrey Bell-Kearney. These stories of innovation, collaboration, and upward movement will inspire and empower you. So take out a pen and paper and let's get the party started.
Welcome, 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 my people. Hello, 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 hello. Let me see here. I got to get that out the way first. I got all this stuff going. I got so much stuff going on. Wait, hold on. That's the one. There we go. There we go. Hello, hello. Listen, guys, welcome to the second episode of Built Together. I'm your host, Audrey Bell-Kearney, and today my guest is Ms. Carla Hill, and we're going to be talking about the Black Tech Symposium up in Philly. Yes, the city of brotherly love. So, thank you so much for being here with me today. I'm so excited about Built Together and all the things that we're doing. And I know that you guys are getting ready for this wonderful symposium next week. So I'm glad you're here with me. And so tell us a little bit about who you are and how you got involved with Built and what people can expect from. Let's start about who you are first.
That's great. Thank you, Audrey. Thanks for the invitation. I'm so happy to be here. I love people that just take action, right? So congratulations on the new show. My background, I'm human resources and career planning, 32 years in human resources in government. I also have my own firm focused on my strengths and my passions in terms of human resources services for businesses and career planning for small business owners as well as individuals. I just love for people to operate in their gifts, right? That's like art to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
When people know what their strengths are, what their skills are, and they go towards it.
Right.
I had a friend, a fellow Built member, connected me. He has a background in human resources, LaDon Lensley. He's been invaluable to the Philly symposium taking off, but he was a Built member, and he connected me with Built. My background is not in technology, but again, I just have a respect for people that operate where they're designed to be. And along my career, I've worked with technologists. And what I know is technology is not the answer to everything. A lot of times, we got to call IT. Now, if you have a jacked up system or operation or function, technology is not going to resolve that, right? Mm-hmm. So we have to do operations, we have to do our part, and then technology makes it even more efficient. Mm-hmm. So Peter asked me to become a board member because one of the things that leadership and operations should see is diversity, right? In thought. If you just have all technologists around or all HR people around, you don't get the innovation. The innovation comes when you have people of different types. So, and I'm a daughter of an immigrant and entrepreneur, born and raised in New York City. I live in Philadelphia now, but I just love my people, right? Mm-hmm. I want to make sure that people get full exposure, full opportunities. And that's one of the reasons that I'm with Built.
Well, thank you so much. It's so funny because I don't consider myself being in tech either, even though people are like, girl, you so tech. Not really. Like I'm the person that can find the apps and the softwares and make them work together. I guess. But I find people that's in tech, they know tech. Like, they know how to code things and make things happen. I can kind of mish some stuff up together and make it happen. So I don't consider myself to be in tech either. However, I will figure out how to make some stuff work together. I will do that. So I'm super excited to be a part of Built, and I know you are too, because I think for us, a lot of times, even though you and I may not be in tech per se, we utilize technology all the time. And so, and somebody has to create those platforms for us to use. And so why not let Black folk do that, right? Why not let them understand that there's an opportunity for you to do these things that we do. One of the things I'm super proud about is Calendly. Calendly, a lot of people use Calendly and they don't know that the founder is Black. And I was like, holy crap, I didn't know he's Black.
I did not know that. I have Acuity, so I might need to change over to Calendly. Yes. I did not know that.
Yes, he's a Black gentleman. He's right here in Atlanta. A lot of people don't know that. And so, that's a proud moment for us because, and I'm trying to get him on Built. I'm trying to get him on the show because I want him to come on and talk about, how did you make that happen? That's a successful business that people all over the place are using. So I'm excited to try to get him on the show. But so you guys are hosting this symposium. What can people expect from the symposium, and why? Like why? Well, let me stop right there. I want to back up a second. What is the state of technology in Philly? Like, is there like, because I'm in Gwinnett County here, and we have Peachtree Corners, which is where our tech hub is, and then of course down in Atlanta, which is a little bit further down south. They have everything in Atlanta, but Gwinnett has Peachtree Corners. So we have what's called Curiosity Lab here. And I just talked about it this morning. They have the autonomous car that's going to be driving around like in 2 weeks, where you can just get in the car and it's going to drive. Like I don't know if I'm ready for that jet yet, but it's here. So what is the state of tech in Philly? What is it looking like for you guys as far as Black people and how concerned?
That's a great question, Audrey. So one of the slogans or one of the catchphrases in Philadelphia is eds and meds, right? So meaning we have probably at least 25 educational institutions, including Drexel University, Thomas Jefferson University, both known for innovation and startups, University of Penn, Ivy League organizations, and University of Penn Hospital. So they tend to be ahead of the curve in terms of just things that are breaking. A lot of times you don't get a lot of attention because Philadelphia is tucked in there between Washington, D.C. and New York City. But just in terms of their major institutions of being educational and research universities, right? They're just ahead of that, and just the innovation, right? That they're known for. So those are the two major areas that we think about when we think of technology in Philadelphia. Now, one of the major partners in the symposium is the city of Philadelphia, and they have really a campaign in terms of closing the digital divide, right? So they're going to be doing a presentation on digital literacy. So even though this is a tech conference, the slogan for the Philadelphia Black Tech Symposium is building bridges to success in tech. And one of the things I love about Built, it's more of an umbrella organization, meaning that it's open to all. So you might have people that are BDPA members, people that are members with North Star and GIS, a bit even. It's making sure that there's room for everyone so you can like collaborate, right? So think about the demographics. When you go on the Built website in terms of the types of membership, you have people that we call future technologists, right? So when you think about what the content of the symposium will be, it's open to all. So that digital novice, right? The person, just like you talked about, we may not view ourselves as technologists, but we use technology. What is this right now? A podcast, right? The stream. Like we know, we navigate it because we have to use it, but technologists and the people that are innovators, they make it where we can't do without our phone, right? We can't do without our laptop, our iPads. So that digital novice that is saying, okay, I know I'm not good, but they are good because they're using it every day and they can't do without it. So one of our keynote speakers is Stephanie Humphrey. She is the technology reporter for Good Morning America. She's a Black woman. She happens to live in the Delaware Valley, in the greater Philadelphia area. And what caught my attention about Stephanie is that even though she was an engineer, she pivoted to being that person that wants to talk to people about technology, right? But users of technology, even though she knows the language, but if you go Tech Life Steph, I think is her Twitter handle. If you go there, it's all about, use this, watch out for that. She's been on a Black radio station here where it's not focused just on techies, it's focused on regular people, where she's trying to do her commitment to close that digital divide also. So we're so excited to have her as the closing keynote speaker. And like I mentioned before, the city talking about the digital divide, they're talking about their smart cities initiative, and also jobs, right? We have the HR person talking about what are the opportunities in working for the city as well in terms of IT. And then you go along. So that's the digital novice, but then it's that future technologist. One of the things, again, my passion is making sure that people have exposure to careers that fit their design. People don't know what they don't know. I'm an HR nerd, So I know that there's 33,000 different occupations in this world, right? But a lot of times parents want their kids to go in tech because you can make money, be a pharmacist, whatever it is, right? So we have a person that is certified in career planning to talk about the first step is assessing yourself, right? Where are you? Like my firm, my husband helped me name my firm, is GPS. And when you think about GPS, what's the first step in a GPS? It's calculating where you are. It's assessing first. It's not where you're going. I always ask that question. What's the first step in a GPS system? They're like, oh, you have to know where you're going. No, it always says, where are you? If somebody says, oh, I need to get to Atlanta, the first question should be, where are you? Are you coming from New York? Are you coming from California? Then I can really map out where you should go, right? So that's what a lot of what we'll be talking about in terms of the future technologies. If you are a person that is very big picture and could not see yourself in a cubicle, but you love technology, maybe GIS is for you because it's much bigger, right? It's mapping and policies, and then you bring that together. But if you're a person that a lot of people think about traditionally, the stereotype that, oh, you want to be in a cubicle, you want to look at code, maybe coding is for you, but there's so many different things. So we'll have intro to AI, a specialist that talks about that, intro to GIS, intro to cybersecurity, intro to blockchain, right? For that future technologies where, hey, I'm interested, but I don't know where to go, right? And then you're really talking about that current technologists that might have 10, 15 years in the field, but it's a tough time navigating mentorships, right? Where do I go next? And that entrepreneur, right, that may not know that, okay, some of the basics, it's not just tech talent that gets you to be a successful business owner, right? So we have experts that are talking about the real things that you need to have a successful startup, as well as ERGs, right? Employee resource groups or business resource groups. What are the advantages of having that in the workplace? So I'm very excited about the content and the openness, right? No matter where you are, we are going to find a place for you. And another major theme is resiliency, building that psychological and, just emotional wellness. We have a psychologist. We have the owner of Power Thinking talking about building resiliency. We have the Department of Behavioral Health for the city talking about building those tools, because we can't control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond, right? So it's exercising those muscles and those habits to make sure that we're navigating appropriately.
So you mentioned GIS. What is GIS?
GIS is, now I'm not a techie, but to me, I'm going to get geographic information systems, right?
Okay.
So we have Clinton Johnson, who is the founder of North Star and works for Esri also. And he's going to be talking about GIS and its place in IT. He talks about, a lot of times, it's snobs look at, oh, that's not really IT, but he is an architectural, what is he? Architect, but architectural, I forget what, he's an architectural engineer by profession. So he is a techie, but he is one of the most passionate people that I've seen that talks about diversity, equity, and inclusion, not just in the workplace, but among residents of cities like Atlanta and Philadelphia. So he is going to be doing a presentation on that and what type of interest you might have that might attract you to have that career in GIS.
Nice. So anytime I feel like there's an inner city or urban city, there's a lot of resources out there, but for most people, they don't know that they're there because they are really busy trying to make life happen. And so one of the things I wanted to ask you about was Philly, because when I think about Philly, I grew up in Newark. So when I think about Philly, I think about Newark, I think about Atlanta, I think about like these urban cities and opportunities that are there. And when I look back, I'm like, man, there probably was a lot of opportunities in New York that I had no clue about. So you got the symposium coming, you got these amazing guests coming. What are you doing to get the message out to them there? Like, I know that the city is partnering with you. I think that's amazing. How did you make that happen anyway? Because some cities aren't that progressive, and when you start talking about tech, it's like going to church trying to get them to change over some things. They've been doing it the same way forever. It's like, Audrey, I'm not changing anything. How did you get the city to come on and partner with the guys on the symposium?
Well, I have to give it to our executive director, Peter Beasley, who reached out to the chief information officer, Mark Wheeler, for the city. And like you said, I mean, just in terms of what they're looking to do, he responded to Peter's unsolicited email, reaching out, right? So again, it's like they were ready. Peter took the action to connect with them, and they just said, okay, we're going to do this and this and that. So, um, I think that's a major benefit, right? And they're going to be doing some additional marketing for us and getting, because you're right. Why have all this great content? But we want to make sure that the people that need it, and some of our partner organizations, I'm excited about our partner organizations and our sponsors also that are helping us. So we have PACT that, I know that one of the definitions is like they're like the Chamber of Commerce for technology firms, right? And they've already started marketing on their website for us. Reviture, who is also a sponsor of Built nationally, they're partnering with us in terms of Philadelphia. They're going to have a booth there. Reviture, if you haven't heard, they are really looking for people. They have real jobs. They have jobs while you train for that real job where they will pay you. Right. And I just think being in human resources and being active in the community, people don't believe that. But they are looking for 5,500 jobs nationwide. Right.
What? I didn't know it was that many.
It's that many. So it's just a wonderful opportunity. And just like you said, Audrey, sometimes it's a gap between what people, my HR colleagues like, oh, I can't get my positions filled. And then in the community, whether you're in churches or nonprofits, they're like, oh, I'm not getting any responses to my resume. So my hope is that events like this, organizations like this, that can bridge that gap, right? Because I'm sure you have people in your life that they're trying, they don't know that, but this is one way where we can convene with, like Launch Code is one of the organizations that'll be partnering with us. Perscolis is another. I mean, it's everyone coming there. The thing is, Bill is convening, but it's not by ourselves. The symposiums that we are holding in the respective cities are really happening and highlighting the infrastructure of those cities. So it doesn't stop at the symposium, right? We're not going to be the experts in everything, but let's say we have someone that's really interested in mapping. I remember my oldest son loved Sim City, that game. Imagine somebody showing that in 7th grade. Maybe they are interested in GIS. So we can guide them to North Star, no pun intended, but that's the name of Clinton's organization, North Star, GIS North Star, right? And it's that, Frederick Douglass papers, a play on all that, but it means something. Right. So again, if they hear Built, they're like, okay, we may not have it, but we want to be able to guide you to the resource that you need to take that next step. Right. So at the closing, we want to say, okay, it's a call to action. We can't just sit around talking all the time. Right. And people like you that want to do well and reach out. But what's the next step? So I ask each participant that registers, hey, this is not just a feel-good moment, right? Oh, this person, Sylvester Mobley, who is one of the top tech leaders in Philadelphia, he's one of the keynotes. Now, the thing is, he's going to be there, he's going to be inspirational, but what are you going to do, right? So yes, you can be inspired by their stories, but we are making sure that there's access to resources for it, no matter where you are in your journey.
Yeah, and I think that's so important because, there's a ton of conferences all over the place all year long. No matter now, since we've been virtual, it's even more. Before you had to kind of plan it out. Now it's like, hey, we'll do a conference next month. So you have those type of resources, but then after the conference, then what? Like what's the next step? And I find that once you leave, you're all pumped up, and then you got to go home and get back to real life. And it's like, okay, so I just went to this amazing conference. Now what? So the fact that you guys are saying, you know what, we're going to make sure these resources are going to be there once you leave the conference, I think that's amazing. That's why I like this platform, because I can bring on great guests like you and Peter and all of the other ones that's going to follow you, say, listen, we're here, but here's where you need to go. And I want to talk about Reviture for a minute, because I got a funny little story. So when I saw Reviture was like really looking for people, right, to learn how to code, I'm like, I'm going to learn how to code. So this is what I said, Carla. So I text people like, hey, how do I register for the coding, right? Because he said, well, when you register, you have to commit to 2 years to working for them. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, so now I need to commit to working for 2 years. You're gonna get paid. I'm like, okay, that wasn't the problem. The problem was the 2-year commitment. So I was like, well, Peter, maybe if I could do it at nights and on the weekends. And what he was really saying to me was, Audrey, when are you going to have time to learn the code? Like, when are you really? And I had to think about that for a second, because in my mind, like, I got this idea for a podcast media platform, right? It's a tech thing. And I got this idea, and I was like, if I know how to code, this is me thinking, if I know how to code, then I probably can build it. And so people can't, because I've tried to have things built before. And if you don't know what you don't know, people can tell you anything. But because I knew just a little bit of something, there were some programmers out there who could not pull the wool over my eyes. I still lost money, but I was able to not lose more than I should have or could have, because I knew just a little bit. And so I was like, well, I think if I go to Reviture, they teach me how to code, I'll know how to code. So in reality, he was like, when are you gonna have time to do that? So when I stopped to think about it, I was like, yeah, you're right. I don't have time to go learn how to code right now. But I like what they're doing. I think the fact that they are trying to fill 5,500 positions, and they're saying, listen, come and work with us. We're gonna train you. You're not gonna make a ton in the beginning, but we're gonna train you, and you can do really well after you get the training. I think that's amazing. I just think that's gonna bridge the gap between a lot of people. Now, you're in human resources, right? I know you talk a lot to people about careers and how to, polish yourself up. What could you tell somebody who's saying, I really want to get in tech, I want to get a job in tech. I don't necessarily want to be a founder, I don't want to be a partner. I just want me a solid job in tech. What are some of the companies looking for? And when they have to go to the interview and get ready to go for that job, what are they looking for?
See, what I talk about is knowing yourself first, right? In terms of assessing. What if you went to a doctor, Audrey, and the doctor would say, oh, here's your prescription. You didn't give them any data in terms of your symptoms or what was going on. So I really believe the first step is some type of assessment to take, so you know what you like. You don't really know what your personality, your values, your interests, the skills, to making sure it's the right design first, right? Once you know, and again, it's the most beautiful thing when you see someone that knows what they want to do, right? And sometimes it's the exposure, sometimes it's programs and researching and really finding out, hey, I know, like, there's certain people that can't be in an office, 5 days a week. So exactly. So coding. Okay, really. So Peter might really, like, that's, especially if you're doing it in addition to, because what happens is when you love something, that energizes you, right? Now, people have a work ethic, so they can work hard, right? But when you are passionate and you are made to do that, you don't really get tired. But watch how tired you get when you don't really like what you do. And as a human resources person, as a person I've probably had over, directly of those 30 years, people, about 100 people work for me directly or through subordinate supervisors. You could train people in anything, Audrey, but you can't train them to care. One, they want to make sure that you care, right? And when I say care of whatever you're doing, that they don't have to like be over you, right? That you're going to be independent, or you're going to find out. And also that you know your design. You know that, hey, like you said, oh, I know I don't want to be in the office 40 hours a week. Then you really should, because it's going to show. People think it doesn't show. So the first thing is knowing you and figuring that out. And with, everything's online. So you can have free, whether it's Myers-Briggs, Career Direct, you can have so many different assessments just to see what's your design. I mean, and it sounds so trite. And, with my sons, when I would visit colleges, I would see the career planning offices empty, right? That's part of your tuition, paying for that office. And they all have assessment tools to figure that out. So you can, at the very least, eliminate certain things that where there's not a fit. If you don't really have a natural curiosity and a commitment to research something or find something out, then that may not be a fit for you of being that analyst. Like people that are designed to say, I'm going to focus and find out the answer. That's more analytical, right? If someone wants to just go step by step. So that's why I'm saying it's so important to know what you're looking for, because skilled interviewers will find that out. So you need to find it out before they find it out. And then you're out in the street because you weren't designed for that job, right? Find a job that you're designed for. And there's not, again, people don't know what they don't know. So like I talked about 33,000 different jobs globally. But people they know what they see. They see doctors and police officers, but they don't see the people behind the scenes, right? So just do a little bit of research beforehand before you just jump out there and say, I want to go in tech. Tech is so broad. It's too broad. So you might have somebody that, that wants to help you, that wants to mentor you, but give them something to work with. They want to be your partner. But if you're not coming to the table with anything, right? Say, I've done some research. I know AI does this, cybersecurity. I could see myself, where could you see yourself? And then you could just eliminate, like somebody may want to be a lawyer. They see what they see on TV. Oh, I have great communication skills. I'm going to be wonderful. But they don't know lawyers, they're in their cubicles, the ones especially starting out, looking at cases, studying and reading in a cubicle. It's not what you see. So you really have to figure out and get some research about the individual occupational or area that you're thinking about.
And I will say this, Carla, you're absolutely right. There are so many areas in technology that you can go into. And I give you a prime example. Like I don't consider myself a techie, but like I said earlier, I will find a way to make things happen, right? So I do this podcast, and you guys can't see behind the scenes, but I got all kind of little wires hooked up and things, things like that. That's because I try to make sure that the show is a good show. So I want to make sure I got the light right. I got this kind of camera, I got that kind of mic, this kind of speaker. So earlier I was doing a phone conference with someone, and I'm freaking out because I'm like, why can't I hear her talk? Because she was talking. We were doing a LinkedIn. LinkedIn now lets you do
LinkedIn Live. LinkedIn
Live. They
Live.
let you do LinkedIn Live, but now they let you do a LinkedIn meeting, which I thought that is really cool. So when someone says, hey, can we meet? You just send them a meeting link right inside of LinkedIn and just, yes, it's so cool. See, that's what I'm saying, girl. I love it. I was like, wait a minute. You mean to tell me I ain't got to go to the calendar? No, you just click the link and schedule it right inside of your LinkedIn message with that person. So I sent her the LinkedIn message inside of LinkedIn. And then when we get on there, I'm like, okay, so why? I did a podcast this morning. Why can't I hear her talk? Like she was talking, but I couldn't hear her, or she couldn't hear me. And so I'm freaking out. So even though I'm not techie, there's a lot that goes into producing this show, like even right down to the graphics and all these little things. So when you think technology, it's not necessarily always about coding. It's about, well, I want to put my podcast on Alexa. Well, Alexa is built on AI. Well, how can I do that if I don't know how to code? Well, I have to go out and find a way to do that, which I did. So but that's a skill now that I can share with other people in the tech space without even knowing how to code, right? So I spoke about this at a conference this year, the beginning of this year, how you can take your podcast, it was a podcast conference, and put it on AI, on Alexa, even if you don't know how to code. And people are like, oh my God, can I do that? Yes. So there are careers out there. There's even businesses you can start. even if you don't know how to code, there are so many, y'all. Like, it's so many. And that's why this Black Tech Symposium in Philly is going to be so key, because now you get to talk to the people that live in this space every day. This is what they do. This is where they live, and you can ask the questions that you really need to ask them. And Carla, for you putting this whole thing together with Peter and the built team, kudos to you. I may be next. I may be next. We haven't talked it out yet, but we may be doing it here in Atlanta next. So you said something about a smart city. For those who are watching who have no idea what a smart city is, what is a smart city to your knowledge?
That's another excellent question. But I just want to share your superpower, Audrey, is you will get it done. That's what I'm just like. You're not going to have anything stop you, right? So that's when I'm talking to people, that's what I'm looking for, right? Just like, and I got to mention the other people that are part of the Philadelphia Planning Symposium team: LaDon Lensley, Kareem, Jasmine, Chloe, Yemi Afalabi. You need all those gifts at the table, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like Kareem, he is amazing at keeping everything together, just in terms of the project management. Project management is another IT related job where you're not a techie, but you're making sure all the details. You're like, Carla, what about this? Did you ask them this? Right? It's just and Chloe, day and night, and Yemi right now, they are really making sure the Hopin platform. So if you decide to do it, having the right skill sets around, because you're going to get it done. Like, you're going to say, even if I would do, I'm going to get it done. So, but it's identifying that talent. And that's, any type of organization from Facebook to Amazon, it all started with a person thinking of it, right? And going through those issues, right? So in terms of smart cities, my knowledge, right, is making sure, and this is not the technical version of it, and that's why we're having a whole session just on smart cities, but it's making sure that the technology is in place to ensure that people have access to technology, right? One of the things, like, if there's, people in our communities, maybe all they have is their cell phone. They don't have a laptop. But imagine if you can go out, right? And there's like there's a Wi-Fi just in the city, is built in the infrastructure, right? It's much deeper than that, but the way that and techies are going to love it, because they're going to talk about the more detailed versions of it. But that's the way I see it, where you could level the playing field, where if you don't have certain things, you can just go out with whatever you have and have access to the world. Right. So there are teams of people that are working on that. That's the way I see it as benefiting our people. Right. So again, I'm just very excited about that. The various stages where you could be that ultimate techie, and once they want to hear about the back office related to blockchain and how that, but I'm looking at it from like HR. Even, because crypto, I wasn't understanding everything, but where it caught my attention, where I saw PayPal on LinkedIn advertising for a director of blockchain. So it's here, right? It's not just techie now. People are seeing that we have to get an understanding, and that's where the opportunities are also. So if they're looking for directors of blockchain, that means there's staffing, and then there's opportunity. Technology will continue to grow, but we have to be able to continue to grow. Once you stop learning, that's it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so you have to be able to make sure that you are staying ahead of the curve.
Yeah, you definitely do, because I tell people this all the time. Technology is not going anywhere. It's here to stay. It's going to outlive us. It's going to, it's going to keep spreading and expanding. It just really is. So it's not, from the way we eat to the way we dress. Like, all these things are here, like, right now, to the health and wellness that we, like, a lot of us are so like, I want to be healthy. Well, I was telling my husband last night, and this is some freaky stuff, but they were talking about this guy in China, how he took these twins and I think he cloned them. He went to prison though, because it was against the law. And he went in there and he took out a gene. I think the gene gives you cancer, but he took the gene completely out of their gene structure and they would never get cancer. Now that sounds amazing, but that's technology and medicine. That's biomed, bio life. It's against the law, and he went to prison, but he did it. So I'm thinking, well, what in the world? Because we got people out here just like that. So technology is not going anywhere. So that's why this symposium is so important, especially as it pertains to African Americans, because we need to be at the table. We need to be a part of these companies. We need to be launching these companies. We have some geniuses in our communities, and we need to help them bring that genius out. So this is an amazing thing. So if someone wants to, is it a 2-day event or a 1-day event?
It's a 3-day event from the 19th to the 21st, October 19th to October 21st.
So if someone wants to attend this, is it virtual or in person or a combination of the two?
It's completely virtual. So wherever you are, you can attend this conference. I'm going to bring up so in order to register, you're going to blacktechsymposium.biz.
Okay, I'm gonna put that in the comments and pop it right up there.
Oh, great.
www.blacktechsymposium.biz.
And it's from noon to 8 Eastern Standard Time to get people that are working, right? People that may be working a full-time job. There's still things that you can see after work, right? So again, take action, register. If you're a Built member, you'll get the recording, but everything's better live if you can go there live. And just make sure that you're in the place. blacktechsymposium.biz.
There it is, blacktechsymposium.biz. Listen, guys, I hope you enjoyed this interview. And if you are thinking about getting in the tech space, this is a great opportunity. If you're in the Philly area, reach out to Carla. She's over on Built. You can go to builtinternational.org and you will find more about Carla. And how can they reach out to you, Carla, if they want to reach out to you?
Yes, they can reach out to me via my email address at carla@gpscareerandbusinessstrategies.com.
All right. Carla, thank you so much for being my guest today. I really appreciate you. And whatever I can do to help you, spread the word, that's what I'm here for. That's what this platform is here for us to spread the word, to share the knowledge with everybody so that they can take advantage of all these wonderful opportunities that are about there and have resources, that they could use to move their careers forward. So thank you again for being here.
Awesome. My pleasure, Audrey. Take care. Thank you again.
You're welcome. All right, guys, listen, that's all I got for you today. I'll be back again next Monday with another great guest on Built Together. And we'll be talking more about what do we need to be doing to build a gap between Blacks in tech space and how you can be a part of that. So if you like this episode, be sure to share this episode with your friends, your families. Also, just subscribe to the show as well. Check out the Black Tech Symposium, October the 19th through the 21st. That's next week. It's totally virtual. Go and register. And be a part of that. If you know somebody who's interested in tech, this is a great opportunity for them to find out more about it. I will probably be doing a symposium here in the Metro Atlanta area in 2022. So I'll keep you posted about that. Listen, you guys stay safe out there, and I'll be back again next Monday at 6 p.m. to bring you another great guest. Until next time, my good friends, make it a great day. Bye, y'all.
You've been listening to Built Together, the podcast all about Blacks united in leading technology, hosted by Audrey Bell Kearney. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe to the podcast and share it with your friends. To support the podcast, visit us on the web at www.builttogether.com. That's www.built2gether.com. Follow us on Facebook and IG at Noise Media Network.